My name is Helen Siegel, and I'm the eldest of three daughters of Holocaust survivors Claire Hyman, who still lives in the house in which I grew up in Queens, New York, and Eric Hyman, who passed away in 2009. They're both German Jews who had very different experiences, but who were both changed forever because they were Jewish. Every survivor's experience is different, and yet they all suffered. The physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual aftershocks still affect them and their families today. I do believe in the recent research that claims that there is multi-generational post-traumatic stress, and in many ways, the Holocaust shaped many of my life choices. This past January, I decided to accompany my mom on a trip to Poland to participate in the commemoration of the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. The words that I'm going to share with you next are the words of my mom. We spoke on our flight home, and this is what she shared with me. On Saturday night, January 25th, I went to Poland, and this time I chose to go. I was very lucky that my family could come with me. I participated in a delegation which included families, dignitaries from all over the world, including Israel, Canada, and parts of Europe. I was very unsure about going on this trip, and it wasn't because I'm 95 years old. Although my doctors cleared me to go physically, I wasn't sure I could handle being back in that place where I suffered and lost so much. I decided that I needed to go to get it out of my system. I traveled with two of my daughters, one granddaughter, and two sons-in-law. I was ready to face the past, not knowing how I would react. When we arrived in Poland, we were greeted at the Krakow airport by young people who were members of the Krakow JCC. They were singing and dancing and hugging and singing Am Yisrael Chai. And that's when I broke down and started crying. I was so overwhelmed. The highlight of this trip was attending the ceremony, which took place on January 27th. We were at Birkenau at the gates of death, where the train stopped and the Jewish men, women, and children got out of the cattle cars to be sent directly to the gas chambers or to work. There were thousands of people in attendance at the ceremony. Representatives from foreign countries, survivors, their companions, and the international press. I even got to say hello to Governor Cuomo of New York, who was a guest there with his family. The ceremony was televised in many countries and included some very emotional speeches. Ronald Lauder, who is the president of the World Jewish Congress and also the CEO of the Birkenau Auschwitz Memorial Foundation, moved me so much with his words. I will not forget his passion and dedication to preserving the memory of not only those who were lost, but the camps themselves. He spoke from his heart so that the world would not forget. The next day we visited the camps, and it rained earlier in the day. It was dark and the air was cold and damp. And first we went to the Auschwitz Museum. So many memories came back. I remembered one morning at roll call, we were forced to watch the hanging of 4 women. These 4 women were my friends and co-workers at a munitions factory at Auschwitz. They stole gunpowder. They were caught, they were beaten, and then they were hung. And I had to cut down one of the bodies, a memory which will haunt me for the rest of my days. Our first stop at Birkenau was by one of the crematoria. We lit candles, and a man from our group recited and sang beautifully the El Mali Rachamim. We all said Kaddish. This gave me great comfort. My children cried with me. I really wanted to see the barracks in which I lived, and so with my walker and my wheelchair, I rushed as quickly as I could. And I wanted to get there without listening to the tour guide. He had so many things to say along the way, and I told him I didn't need his help, that I could give the tour myself. When we arrived at Block 9, I was very disappointed because I couldn't go in. I was really looking forward to being back where I had lived. The crematorium was 3 blocks from Block 9, and I remember the chimney and the smoke, day and night, day and night. The first job I had at Birkenau was pulling weeds from the electrified fence. And I remembered being able to talk to workers there and even get some extra food, which was thrown over the fence. Once I caught a date, and when I bit into it, found a gold piece. I knew that this would help me organize to get more food. At the camps, an organizer was someone who could make deals and trade for things, and I was very good at that. Being at Auschwitz-Birkenau was very hard for me. I remembered so many things that I never told my family before, like the young women who couldn't take it anymore, who lost all hope and threw themselves on the barbed wire fence to end it all and to end their suffering. This was a very hard trip, and I still can't believe that I returned to that place. I'm not sure how I will be when I get home, but I do know that I don't regret going. I hope that I can be at peace now that I was able to do this, and I feel like I can enjoy the time I have left with my family. My mom's words are very important to me. Little did she know that when she was going to arrive home, she would be having to rest in place in her home without the connections that she looked forward to. We are all charged never to forget. I can't forget from hearing my mother's screams in the middle of the night when I was a child, and more recently when we came back from Poland. From the tattoo on her arm, the enormity of Auschwitz-Birkenau, the emaciated piles of dead bodies that I saw in photos, which could have been the family I never had. The vastness of the camps, the magnitude of the horror, the depths of depravity continue to be devastating to me. How could this happen? A question I will ask myself in perpetuity. Yom HaShoah honors all those who perished and those who survived. And we can say triumphantly, Am Yisrael Chai.